G'day there guys, how's it going? Markee here, back at it again with another episode of r/Am I the A-hole? Now with that said, I want you to sit back, relax, enjoy the content, and tell me who you think is the a-hole down below. Posted by user Lost My Mind in LA, titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my wife it's not cute for her to encourage our teenage daughter to expect her boyfriend to pay for everything in their relationship? Wife and I have been married 18 years. We have our 16-year-old daughter who has been dating a slightly shy and awkward young man for around 3 to 4 months now. He seems very nervous around my daughter and has admitted in a passing comment here and there to my wife and I that he can't believe she agreed to date him and he thinks she's way out of his league. He seems very respectful, just shy. My wife is usually an independent, awesome woman and her ideals align closely with mine, particularly in terms of feminism and equality. We have both striven to raise our daughter to be as independent and as capable as possible. Since my daughter has been dating this kid, my wife has changed considerably and has given our daughter advice that has left me with a raised eyebrow more than once. Some of the advice I've heard my wife give is, "Oh, it's cute for boys to pay for everything, especially in your first relationship," or, "Oh honey, don't worry about that, he can pay for you. If he really liked you, he would," and similar. I've tried to balance this out by telling my daughter straight away, 2 people in a partnership should be contributing equally. And my personal favorite, if someone asks if they can take you out to dinner, it's reasonable to expect them to pay. But if someone asks you to grab dinner with them, it's reasonable to split the payment. I figured that would be an easy way for a young person to understand the difference. However, I've noticed my daughter becoming more and more entitled with her boyfriend's money. They haven't been anywhere, obviously, since we're home, but by the way she talks about him, she says, "Oh, I'll just ask him to pay for X, etc., leaves a bad taste in my mouth. She has also flippantly bragged and mentioned that she gets him to buy gift cards for her, etc., by mentioning her mother's advice. If you really liked me, you'd pay for X. I spoke to my wife recently and told her my concerns. She insists it's a rite of passage for girls, and it's cute that she should feel a guy is completely spoiling her. I told her that it's not cute for her to be thinking it's acceptable to view relationships as personal ATMs. And my wife became very angry with me and is now calling me an a-hole with a lot of hostility. It's not cute, not the a-hole. Your wife is the a-hole. Your daughter is becoming the a-hole. The boy also needs some guidance, but that probably shouldn't come from you. Edit, read the responses to my comment. There are some good arguments that maybe you should consider talking to the boy yourself. I may have been wrong on that part, but you'll have to decide for yourself. I always paid my own way on dates, because I was not for sale. Because if I kissed him, I wanted both of us to know it was because I wanted to, not because he'd paid for it with dinner or tickets to a show. Because I wanted friendship and love, not dependence and manipulation and stupid games. What your wife is encouraging in your daughter is not cute. It's ugly and potentially dangerous. Not the a-hole. Hell, I was raised in the Dark Ages and came to realize long ago that this is not cool. I'm a 61-year-old widowed female and would never insist a date pay unless he offered because something good came in financially. Encouraging her daughter to exploit her boyfriend financially and being a fierce, independent woman whose ideals align with yours on feminism and equality do not compute. Maybe she is not as fierce and independent as you thought. I'm wondering if OP is now realizing that he is in fact a walking ATM to the woman in his life. Not the a-hole. Ask your wife how she would feel if his dad told his son, if she really liked you, she'd... You get the idea. This. OP, you need to state this explicitly to your wife and not with internet ellipses that leave any room for doubt. How would she feel if the boyfriend's dad told him that if your daughter really liked him, she'd give him a blowjob or have sex with him or try something else sexual that she's not comfortable with? Because that's the path you're setting someone on by making affection measurable and transactional. Posted by user The Rue Mom, titled, Am I the a-hole for taking a 3-hour nap every afternoon and expecting my husband to look after my kid and only wake me up for emergencies? My husband, 38, and I, 34 female, have been married for 5 years. We have a 4-year-old daughter and a 3-month-old son. Our son has a health condition and needs to be fed every 40 to 80 minutes. I work in IT and can easily work from home and generally make my own schedule. My husband works from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. I get up every hour at night to feed our son so that my husband can sleep. I drop our daughter off at kindy in the morning and then work and look after our son. I obviously don't get much sleep during the night, so I have started to sleep from 3:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. and I made it clear that I am not to be woken unless it's an emergency. My husband looks after the kids and cooks tea while I'm asleep, and at 7 we all eat. After that, we take turns reading stories to our daughter as our bedtime ritual. She's usually down for the night at 8. Then my husband and I have us time from 8 to roughly 9:30, which is when he goes to sleep. After that, it's only me looking after our son so my husband can sleep through the night. I usually do some more work and go to sleep at around midnight, but obviously very interrupted sleep since I have to get up every hour. My husband has started complaining recently. He doesn't think I should sleep in the afternoon because during that time childcare is on him completely. He wants some time to relax when he gets home, but the thing is, I need a few hours of uninterrupted sleep too, otherwise I'll go crazy. Our son will most likely outgrow his condition and should be able to live a normal toddler life by the time he is 18 months. I can't possibly not sleep for another year and 3 months though. My husband isn't happy. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I should clarify that I don't actually sleep at night due to the feeding pattern. My nap is the only sleep I get. My husband doesn't want a nanny and he doesn't want to be a stay-at-home dad. Not the a-hole. Offer him to swap the shifts. You get your night sleep and he can nap if he comes home from work. Let's see how he likes that. It's hard both ways, but that's kids for the first 5 to 10 years. He's totally got the better side of the deal at the moment, not the a-hole. Before you get kids, people, be sure you are 100% up to it. I don't think anyone actually knows what they're in for. Most babies can sleep a few hours at a time, or some even through the night, by 3 months, let alone 18 months. You can try to prepare, but it's not possible to prepare for everything. It definitely seems to him you're just napping and he's carrying the load. He's mistaken. First, do this. Draw out a 24-hour timetable. Show the uninterrupted sleep comparisons so he can visualize it. If that does not work, tell him you will wake him tonight every hour at nighttime so he can comprehend the sheer agony of uninterrupted sleep, which isn't true sleep. Then do it, and don't give him a 3-hour nap, because it'll be his punishment for doubting you, because you're clearly pulling your weight. Yeah, he's obviously delusional because he's not seeing everything you do when he's either at work or asleep, and if charts don't convince him, I recommend rolling him out of bed every hour of the night, because a 3-hour nap, not even a nap as such, since that's basically your longest stretch of sleep, is the least that he should be giving you. Update, am I the a-hole for taking a 3-hour nap every day and expecting my husband to look after the kids and only wake me up for emergencies? It's been a while since I last posted, but a lot has happened, so I figured I should update you. Making this post has been an eye-opener for me, and I decided that then and there that I was done. So thanks to everyone who told me what I desperately needed to hear. I started gathering evidence, which would allow me to leave relatively safely. After I had enough evidence, I prepared to leave. I gathered all documents and secretly packed up some stuff for the kids and myself. I informed my parents and my brother about the situation. My parents immediately turned my brother's old room into the new kids' room, and my old room has never stopped being mine. I waited for my husband to be gone, and then my brother picked us all up. I left a message for my husband explaining that I wasn't coming back and that I'd be filing for divorce. I also told him about all the evidence so he wouldn't do anything stupid. I've been at my parents for nearly a week now. We have a carer who stays 3 nights a week, and I share the other 4 nights with both my parents. My dad is retired, so he looks after the kids for a good portion of the day. I've talked to a lawyer, and she said I will likely get full custody. My soon-to-be ex has left some nasty messages, but hasn't shown up, so I feel relatively safe. I don't think he will fight for custody, since he was always disappointed that our daughter wasn't his son, and our son isn't the strong little boy that he wanted either. As of now, I will stay with my parents. The kids are happy, my parents are happy, and I had 7 hours of sleep last night. Posted by user Grove Clover, titled, Am I the a-hole for correcting my daughter's teaching about her name? My 7-year-old daughter's doing virtual school in our living room recently. I heard her teacher address a girl named Kelly a few times, which stuck out to me because my daughter's class is only about 15 kids, and I know them all by this point in the year. A couple times more, and I realized she was calling my daughter Kelly. My daughter's name is Keely, pronounced Key-Lee. So after school was over, I asked her if that had been happening all year in this teacher's class, and she said it had, and it really annoyed her. I asked her why she hadn't corrected the teacher if it annoyed her so much, and she said she had repeatedly at the beginning of the year, but the teacher kept calling her Kelly, so eventually she gave up on reminding her. I sent the teacher a quick email explaining the misunderstanding, but got no response. This teacher teaches a special subject, think music, gym, art, or language, not just one grade level, so my daughter will be in her classes for the next several years, so we couldn't just wait it out. And how moments like these are handled now will set the stage for how my kid deals with similar situations on her own in the working world. I encouraged my daughter to come to class early or stay late here again, thinking maybe she hadn't heard or understood her last time, so a quiet one-on-one would be better. She got to the class early, and she told her very politely that her name was Keely, like really, instead of Kelly, like jelly, and that people often got it confused, so she just wanted to clarify. So class starts, and sure enough, she gets called Kelly again almost immediately. So there's only so much self-advocation a 7-year-old can be expected to do. I just walked over and said, "Hi, this is Keely's dad. Her name's not Kelly, it's Keely, hard E. Sorry for any confusion." A few hours later, I had an email in my inbox inviting my wife and I to a parent-teacher conference with the vice principal. The long and short of the meeting ended up being the school feels that while the teacher probably should have learned her name, that the real problem is she feels I challenged her authority by correcting her in class, and that the names were similar enough for it not to have warranted such a drastic action. That surprised me. I couldn't believe a meeting was necessary, let alone that it cast blame on us. I can't tell if I'm being that annoying my kid matters most parent that my grandmother the school teacher always complained about, or if the teacher should just learn her damn name because that's just a basic part of her job. Am I the a-hole? I had a teacher do that to my daughter, and she only corrected herself when I started addressing her by the wrong name. Yeah, not the a-hole. This is hilarious, thank you for this story. I mean, it seems like the teacher is fine as long as her name is close enough. So your daughter should be fine saying her teacher's name close enough to what it actually is. They've made it clear that it's no big deal, so she should be fine. Not the a-hole. Challenge her authority over your child's name? She can screw right off. I bet that's why the teacher kept calling OP's daughter Kelly. She thought OP's daughter was challenging her authority by correcting her in class on the wrong pronunciation, lol. Adults who feel the need to bully children are the worst sort of people. Worse so if they take a position of authority over said child before bullying them. Not the a-hole. Incorrect authority doesn't have authority, and honestly, if teacher's authority is fragile enough that being gently corrected over something damages it, teacher has bigger problems. We don't feel it's inappropriate for our daughter to politely correct grown-ups when they make mistakes. We encourage her to be honest and open with people generally, and this is a part of that. We also feel that it's important for children to be raised to be well-adjusted to adult life and the world of work. In adult life, it is not considered rude or drastic to politely correct a misspelling or mispronunciation of one's name. So we don't feel that a bad example was set here. If ever you have concerns about rudeness or disrespectful behavior, we would like, of course, to know, but cannot agree that anything she or I said to date could be characterized as rude or disrespectful. If you really want to wind them up, append this onto the end. We of course will speak to our daughter to ensure that she's aware that some people are more sensitive than others, and things which are entirely innocent to most may unexpectedly offend some people, and the importance of seeking to smooth things over in the event that inadvertent offense is caused by an innocuous comment. Geez, that's so good. Posted by user Sadly Ambitious, titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend that his masculinity was fragile after he refused to buy me pads? Okay, throw away because my boyfriend knows my other account. I, 23 female, moved in with my boyfriend, 24 male, of 2 years a couple months ago. We haven't had any problems before this argument. Things had been going pretty well. Anyways, a couple days ago, I got my period. It came early and I had ran out of pads. I couldn't leave to buy some because I bleed pretty heavily and I could have bled through my pants. So I asked my boyfriend if he could buy me pads for me from the drugstore, because it was late. He immediately said no, and I was shocked because I wasn't really expecting that. I asked him why. He said that he didn't want the cashier to see him buying pads. At this point, I started laughing because that was hilarious. He wasn't joking though. He just glared at me. I told him that the cashier would obviously know it wasn't for him. Plus, the cashier would definitely not care what he was buying. He still refused. I told him that he could go to the self-checkout machine if he was so insecure, but he said that he didn't want anyone to see him with the pads because they would think that he was yes. I told him that he was childish, and that his masculinity was really fragile if he couldn't even buy pads for his own girlfriend. He got mad and went out. I had to bunch up some toilet paper as a makeshift pad, wear black pants and a long cardigan, and go buy the pads myself. My boyfriend has been ignoring me ever since. I've been thinking that I maybe might have pushed it too far. So, am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend that his masculinity was fragile after he refused to buy pads for me? Edit. Wow. Thank you all for your replies. I'm definitely going to have a serious talk with my boyfriend in the morning about this, and we'll see how it goes. Not the a-hole. Your boyfriend sounds immature, insecure, like a transphobe, and can't endure slight embarrassment to help you out. Gross. Slight embarrassment? He has no reason to be embarrassed other than for his stupid behavior. If anything, people would more likely be proud of him for doing it, unlike many others thinking they're too much of a man to buy hygiene products for women. When me and my girlfriend got together and basically live together now, it was harder for me to buy condoms a year ago than getting pads for her. Hey, I was embarrassed when I had to buy my own pads for the first time after I moved out. It's fine to be a little irrationally embarrassed as long as you can get over it. Not the a-hole. He's a huge a-hole and his masculinity is fragile. What does he think the cashier's gonna think? Ha ha ha, this man knows someone who has periods, ha ha ha, grow up. If the cashier even thinks anything, it would be, this dude's got a girlfriend at home. No judgment, nothing special. I was the cashier for a lot of these interactions. My thoughts were always, I wish I could find a man who would go buy pads for me, and then I found one, and I married him, and damn I'm lucky. Almost 8 years married, and if I space and forget to buy pads, I just text him and he gets some for me on his way home from work. I feel bad for OP. Is the bar for what a woman in a relationship with a man should expect that low? If I was straight, that would be something I should seek out and not take for granted. Jesus, straight women need to unionize and demand better conditions. Yep, the bar is sadly on the floor, maybe even lower than that. Posted by user KG Mullins, titled, Am I the a-hole for kicking my boyfriend's parents out of our apartment after his mum called me a tramp? Back in March, his parents decided they wanted to come wait quarantine out at our apartment. For starters, they never asked. His mother called and told me that they were on their way and to prepare our spare bedroom for them. I was already apprehensive about them staying with us because his parents have always been extremely rude to me. They are overly critical of everything I say and do. They are massive control freaks who feel entitled to always be in charge. So right off the bat, things are miserable. They verbally abuse me daily, tell me what I can and can't do in my own apartment, and are overall just the worst. Out of everything, the air conditioning caused the biggest debacle. Where I live, it has been 85 to 90 degrees almost every day. I normally keep my air on 70, but when they started complaining, I turned the air up to 75. This is already a little bit toasty for me, but I was willing to be a little hot to try to keep the peace. This was not good enough for them. They don't want the air on, period. They want the heat on, and they want to turn it on every single opportunity they get. I wake up in the middle of the night covered in sweat. I have told them to stop countless times. Yesterday, I finally cracked. I put about 10 pieces of duct tape over the thermostat with a note attached that said, "Do not touch the thermostat while I am at work." 6 p.m., I walk into my apartment and am automatically hit by a hotter and more humid heat than it is outside. Duct tape and note have been torn off the thermostat, and they have the heat on 98 fudging degrees. I go into the guest room and say, "Why could you not follow the simplest instructions of do not touch the thermostat? This is my home. I am tired of you saying rude things to me. I am tired of you treating me like a child and creating your own rules for my apartment. You either need to be respectful towards me and learn to accept my boundaries, or go back to your own house." His mother said, and I disdainfully quote, "You have no right to barge in here without knocking. That was not only invasion of privacy, but you need to take the attitude out of your tone. I've dealt with much bigger bitches than you before." She went on for 30 minutes and I just tuned her out. When she was done talking, I told her to get out. Now my boyfriend is angry with me because I just couldn't let them have their way. He wants me to call his mum and apologize, but I don't think I should have to. I may have been rude to her, but it was only because I have spent the past 2 months dealing with her abuse and trying to politely ask her to stop treating me that way. I got tired of politely asking someone to stop treating me like crap in my own home, in which I was letting them live in for free. I also got tired of my boyfriend refusing to defend me and allowing her to say and do whatever she wanted. I am trying to understand their perspective, although it just doesn't seem reasonable to me. If Reddit determines I am the a-hole, I will call and apologize. Not the a-hole, and I would seriously reconsider a future with him if he's not willing to support you now. It will only be worse in the future when it comes to his parents. The good thing is, they are at the boyfriend-girlfriend stage, so she can get the hell out as soon as possible. That boy needs a lesson in life. OP, not the a-hole, run as fast and as soon as you can. His mother called and told me that they were on their way. Right then and there, you should have told them to turn around. The better thing is that they have a spare guest room she can sleep in instead of with him. It will probably be hard to find a new apartment and move out right now. Not the a-hole, get out, this won't change. Nah, kick the boyfriend in there. He doesn't deserve the master bedroom. Guest bedroom? He can go live with his parents if he's going to be a child. Not the a-hole. Why do you even stay with your boyfriend? He's clearly choosing his mother over you every single time. You should be kicking all 3 out. Think of the relief of having 3 toxic people out of your life. And OP writes in a comment, "Alright guys, so my boyfriend and I just had a very long conversation. I admitted to him that I vented on Reddit and I screenshotted a bunch of comments for him to read through. He was mostly silent for a while and got a little emotional. Eventually he asked me if I showed him all these comments because I was planning on leaving him. I told him no, I wasn't going to just dump him without giving him the chance to work through our issues if he was willing to. I explained to him that I understand his past trauma with his mother, but it doesn't make it okay for him to enable her to be abusive towards me. He agreed that he was in the wrong and he should have made a bigger effort to step in and defend me. He also apologized for asking me to call his mother and apologize. I told him that I wasn't going to make him choose between me and his mother, but if we were going to have a healthy relationship, he would have to start going to therapy and he would have to confront his mother about her behavior. I told him I would stand by him and support him as he did it, but it was something he would have to do on his own. I told him that we were setting some hard boundaries, and one of those boundaries would be that his parents are no longer allowed to stay with us, ever. He agreed that was for the best and admitted he's been miserable these past 2 months too. He mentioned that cutting off his family might be what is healthiest for his mental health, and how that is something he would discuss with the psychiatrist when he goes. I told him that I was extremely hurt, that not only was he willing to prioritize his mother over me, but he was willing to cause me pain to satiate her need for control. It bothered me a lot that he made me really feel like I was the a-hole to the point that I made this post to try to gain perspective. After that, he told me he would call his mother and request she apologize for treating me so poorly the past 2 months. Honestly, That is a really big step for him, and I am very proud of him for that. It shows me that he is willing to work on his issues. I do think seeing a professional might help him process these emotions better and develop healthier coping mechanisms. Overall, right now it seems like we're going to be okay relationship-wise as long as he is committed to actually following through with his promises. Thank you to everyone who commented. You have been extremely helpful. I will keep you guys updated on any new developments. Posted by user FJDJ Scowl, titled, "Am I the a-hole for making my sister sleep on the floor because she was given money for a bed but spent it on a computer?" So my 25 male, sister, 19 female, is staying with me during quarantine because I live in her college city and our mum is across the country. I live in a 2-bedroom apartment, but the second bedroom I had been using as a game room/office. Our mum sent her some money for a bed when she moved in, but my sister spent it on a new computer. Since then, she's been sleeping in a sleeping bag on the floor. For about a month now, she's been whining that it's uncomfortable, and I'd just been ignoring her. Apparently she texted my girlfriend about it, because when I talked to her, she said it's inhumane that I'm making her sleep on the floor, and I should buy a cheap bed for her. I don't see why I should have to, since she can move back with my mum, or sell her computer and buy a bed. She was given money, it's not like she didn't have a chance. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your sister didn't make her bed and now she has to not lie in it. Not the a-hole. She knew what she was doing when she used the bed money for a computer. She blatantly thought she could then force you to buy her a bed. She doesn't deserve to be rewarded for misusing your mother's money. Yep, exactly. She was, and still is, from the sound of it, hoping to wheedle her way into having both. If you give it now, it just reinforces her mindset that she can whine and cry her way through everything, and she doesn't need to make plans or sacrifices to get both what she wants and what she needs. Because she is more than likely could have both, if she was smart about it and put in the work to research good deals on them. Not the a-hole. Life lesson for your sister: blow money on frivolous crap instead of necessities and suffer the consequences. The only way you should buy her a bed is if she owns it, if she can work it off for a month or two doing chores or something. She has to earn it, even if it's a cheap air mattress which costs like $20. She can call her mommy and fess up what she did and try to get more money out of it. That's not a good idea, but okay. Judging by the fact that she hasn't done that yet after a month, I wonder if mum wouldn't accept it either, or if she did and got told tough luck. G'day there guys, Outro Markee here. Hope you enjoyed the episode as much as I enjoyed making it today. If you did, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. Tell me what you thought about it down below. Also, if you like memes, be sure to head on over to my second channel, Markee2. It should be one of the sexy Australian faces on screen, the one without the flag. It's my latest and greatest creation, and I hope you like it. Also, I'd like to give a huge shout out to my channel members and Patreon subscribers. You guys do so much good for me, and the support goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I love you guys, and I appreciate all the help and support you provide me on this channel. Also, if you want to join the family, links are down in the description below, or click that join button next to the subscribe button. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that one today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!